Okay, so fireworks. So as far as a firework effect goes, for a mover, I mean, going all the way back, I would do firework effects just with like a gobo and an iris pop or something like that. Or with pixel effects, you could easily do something where your pixels go up and then kind of explode, if you will. Let's try to get that iris. Or I guess here's the thing, since we're digital, it's not an iris pop. We're running a zoom effect. So let's go ahead and just try to get it going kind of with one builder to start. We're going to get a multi-beam gobo. Zoom it down. Actually, sorry, that's a lot. I'm going to do this with every single builder. Let's do... Let's get like an orangey color. That's classic for fireworks. Let's get a color effect on there to kind of have some different stuff going on. Grab color map. What do I want for a color map? Let's do... Actually, this would be a perfect one to do the a post radial for.
Mm-hmm. So it moves as it's doing the explosion.
So it like moves out and like the color changes as it goes out from center.
Oh. All right.
Okay, so now as I move out, so I want to flip those colors. So I'm going to make my switch color 1 and color 2. So now, as I move away from center, it gets darker. So let's go ahead and center up. This is, I'm going to actually record as cues. On consoles that are not Onyx, you could very easily do a keyframe type effect. This would be a perfect thing for the keyframe engine on Avo. So I'm going to go ahead and record. So actually, that's a lie. So let's do the vertical movement as well, because we can do the vertical movement as well. That lift charge is going to be more of a golden. And the lift charge is also going to be more kind of like that. I am taking this way over the top.
As you should.
Anybody who knows me is laughing right now. So that comes into view. It goes up. I'm not going to go all the way up because I still want some vertical room for the explosion. And then we're just going to move our builders to different points around the outside. Got to have some going down as well. Okay, let's change our gobo. This is something where I'm definitely going to do some parameter timing. What can I get away with as far as number of dots? Let's do a single point and throw a prism on it. That's what we're going to do. And then all of that stuff is going to be 0 count, and I'll call out my position fade and my intensity fade and delay on their own. Oh, and color 2. Yep. Cool. So I have that prism. I can get away with a square prism. And I can tighten up my spacing on that prism to just have the stars moving away from center. Maybe I'll do a pentagon, that'll probably read better. There we go. That's about as many points as I can get away with without it freaking out, because I'm now doing 40 points rendering per laser at the same time. So I got a 5-facet prism on each of 8 builders. So I'm going to record this with a 0 time, and then I'm going to update some timings. So go into my one here. That is a 0 time. That was going to be changing some path here as well to acceleration of it going up. Wait, that's just going to follow 0. So I want on this, I need to change my position time. Fade, pan tilt. Let's say a 0.8. Update. And then let's have that decelerate as they move away from center. And then fade it. And with fireworks, they usually don't all fade out at the same time, so let's get that too.
Why not while you're at it?
Grouping, random, delay, intensity 0 through 5, fade intensity 0.3 through 0.6, update.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a firework. Goes up in the air, explodes, and then fades out. Changes color as it fades in. So the 2 parts of this are the builder goes up, and then all 8 builders scatter and then fade out at different times. How I'm doing the scatter is it's just they're all moving to their own position and fading out. And you could easily repeat this, sync it to BPM, whatever you want to do, and make some really cool stuff. You could also have it where each laser goes up on its own and then twinkles out separately. Let me real quick just get fireworks going across all of them. Okay, so for just basic exploding fireworks per, which would be kind of the random iris chase from good old days that I used to do on Max 700s all the time. Let's get a danger dot with prism. Prism, let me pull up that prism before I danger dot. Hexagon, danger dot, zoom it down. There we go. That's probably pretty good. So I'm just going to have 2 positions recorded, and then let's say we were syncing to an audio track. We're going to be able to have each firework burst on its own, if you will, with timed with that track. So I'm going to go ahead and have 2 position presets. One of them is going to be that center, and then the other, I'm going to push everything to the outside, similar to what I did before. So I'm just going to go there. These I'm just going to go around kind of in a circle. record that as my second position. So I have center, and then I go to the outside. And I can live time that real quick and kind of show you what. So let's just set that a little over a second. So there's the explosion.
Right.
And with Q timing, again, I can accelerate that as it gets to the end. You can also do that with something like a keyframe editor. So we're going to go to center. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and so let's have laser 2 explode first, full. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the intensity come on a 0 count and the position fade over like a second.
Okay.
Let's give that an uptime of like a 0.3. So turns on, explodes, and then fades out. Those at 0. So we get a firework that explodes and then fades out. And we can do that for each laser. I'll do that for 2 more, and then we'll switch over to Avo. Okay, so I made a Q list here. What happens is Q1 sets it up. Q2 is the first firework burst, goes from the first position to the second position, fades out. The movement is built into my 1 second fade time on the first cue. Same thing happens with the other one. Same thing happens with the other one. So I can now have 3 firework hits in a show and have them all go time code that in so that they're locked exactly to where they need to be. Okay, so for the firework, we have 2 different things programmed in Onyx. We have the vertical lift with the explosion and the staggered twinkle out. And then the other cue I have programmed is the 3 individual hits that you can easily sync to time code. We have that guy, and they do a really cool twinkle out as they move out from center. And so that you could do as many of these as you want, individual hits. It's just moving between 2 position presets and then fading out. So now let's take that cue over to the MA. So it's going to be a very similar idea. I'm going to end up making 2 position presets and move back and forth between them. So let's take that over to the MA, grab all our builders, find a color and a gobo we like. Let's go to the points page. There we go. Get some multiple points. Something like that there. And then zoom that down, and then we'll start moving them around. My X and Y down. Something like that, some little firework point explosions. And we are giving this thing too many points to make right now, so let's do something a little different. An easy way to get multiple points is just throw the single point gobo and a prism, which is I think what I did over on Onyx. Pattern back down to 1. Beam, get our prism. Bring our prism in. Get something circular with a couple facets. we'll do, looks like we're getting really good results with the 3-facet prism. So I will go ahead and record this as one of my positions. And then I will go ahead and reset everything to center. And then lower it just a little bit to start from a little low. So we'll be bursting from that point. That's going to be my first point. So there to there. And if I throw a little lifetime on that, you can see between those two positions. So the beautiful thing now is I can take this and I can put it into an effect, just a 2-position effect. Let me remove color 2 from my selection. There we go. Edit, U, add, pan tilt, low value. Probably, yeah, 66 and 67. Didn't name them, but here we go. 67. So now we're just wiggling around between those two positions. Let's go ahead and make that be a block of 8. There we go. Group 8. So now we're opening up like that. And so what I actually want to do is add a dim and then actually set all of this to the fly out effect. Fly out. And you are going to be position. Fly out, you're going to be position. Fly out, you're going to be dim. And I'm going to need to invert that. Switch my high and my low. 7. 66. There we go. So now we have sequential firework bursts. I'm going to speed that up. Too fast. Maybe 20. Okay, so let's go ahead and randomize that then. So I have my selection still. Yep, we're still good. Shuffle. So shuffled with block of 8. So now I should be able to take that into the effect. Take. And now I should be able to 0. 8. There we go. Okay, so what I have is I grabbed all of my builders with only the main part, not the color 2 part, and I set a block 8 and shuffled selection so that we have a kind of random burst of these fireworks. But now what I need to do, I need the intensity to catch them when they're already moving a little more out from center. So I'm going to adjust the phasing on just my dimmer. There we go. Getting a little more bursty. Hell yeah. And we can do multicolored fireworks too. They can do multicolored stars coming out from those fireworks. There we go. So I have an effect just moving between two positions. I use the flyout effect, and then the pan and tilt are both assigned in the motion part of the flyout effect, and then the dimmer obviously assigned to the dimmer part of the flyout. And then I did a block 8 shuffle select to get kind of a random burst effect. And there we have it. Fireworks on MA2. I would go up a little more for your start. And it looks like you're a little left. Yeah, center up. Yeah. Yup.
Okay. Once more feeling, actually. Create a cue list. Okay. All right. There. Oh, not all of them did it. Haha.
Minor details.
Minor details. There. 2, 3, 4. Okay, whatever. Okay, so then I give them times. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first one can be a 0. The second one wants to be like a 0.6 or something like that between the two. And if you have a fade path, I would do an S-curve fade path. I don't know if you have that on Ava.
Yes. S-curve.
So are you able to delete that third cue without destroying the sequence? Cool. And so you want the third cue to take before the second cue finishes.
Okay.
So I like a follow timer, or probably a wait time less than the fade time of the second cue, so that it just automatically fades out before they get to the end of their position. You just need a wait time from the previous cue. That's what it's usually called. Because follow waits till the end of the fade, waits is a wait time after the go. Yeah. So a little bit longer on that wait. There you go.
Kind of like that. Cool. All right.
So you have a 3 cue list. The first cue turns them on. And then the second cue is the move, and the third cue, which takes automatically, is your fade out. And so with that cue structure, really on any console, and even the most basic of consoles, you can build those 3 cues, but you can build them for however many lasers you want at the same time. Just like I had over here with my 3 individual bursts, right. You can easily just do one at a time, all of them. And if you just have those 2 position presets, you could make something very tightly synced to an audio sequence with as many as you want at once.